Hello everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to the channel where we're going to actually make some cards today in this video. So the theme of today's video is going to be getting more out of your current supplies. So I'm going to show you these two cards where we use different supplies and we double it. We basically increase our supply usage by 100%, I suppose it would be. So let me tell you what I'm talking about. We're going to be using some stencils and some dies. Right here I have my binder where I keep my stencils, nothing new to anybody, but I have been getting quite a few comments about how people are putting their stencils in binders as well and how much they love it. So I thought it was worth just another little quick look-see. All right, so I'm going to pull out the star stencil that I'm going to be using from scrapbook.com, and I am going to get to having some fun. Now, full disclosure here, I've had a couple of these new colors from Distress Oxide line or Distress line since they came out, but I haven't used them yet. So we're going to have fun with those. Kitsch Flamingo, Villainous, and Prized Ribbon. All right, so I'm going to place some double-sided low-tack adhesive or tape on the back of this, sticking it to my white glass magnetic mat. And then I'm going to put my stencil down and use my magnets to hold it in place. Quick note on this mat, I've raved about it multiple times, but I've also had some people communicate with me that their magnetic mat isn't magnetic. And so I wondered a couple things. First of all, if you do order this, make sure that you select it to be magnetized in the order process. But then also, it's not magnet in the sense that you can put dies down on, the dies will stay. It's magnetic in that the magnets will stick to it. So you can see these little blue things right here. They look like Parcheesi pieces. Those are actually magnets. And so it's holding my stuff in place. So I just wanted to clarify that in case there was any confusion on your purchase process. All right, so I am going to speed this up a little bit using my ink blending brushes. I have these brushes from Amazon, and they are in rainbow colors, which helps me decide which ones to use for which color, although I think the ink on the brush itself would be a dead giveaway. That's because they're white bristles. All right, anyway, I'm going to use the Kitsch Flamingo next, and I really, really enjoyed these new colors. I think they're super fun. And so I'm going to show you the first part of doubling up your stuff and halving your efforts. Okay, so we're doubling our cards with half the effort. This always looks like such a mess when you're stenciling, but when you pull it off and you get to see the reveal, it's always magic. All right, so I'm going to show you this up close, but I'm not going to do anything with that stencil just yet. All right, we're going to put it aside, put that panel aside, and then I'm going to take out my spray bottle, and I'm just going to spritz it. I think I spritzed it a little too hard. You want a light layer of water. I'm going to use a watercolor piece of cardstock here. I'm going to press it down, and I'm basically getting an imprint of that stencil by using the excess ink. So now I have made two backgrounds in seconds. So that's really great, and that's really what we want to do here. So I'm going to show you just the difference of those two cards. Very different backgrounds, but took no extra effort. I just spritzed it and pressed it, and that's what we got. All right, I'm going to clean off my area here, and we're going to get ready and set for the next part in this process. I have pulled out some of my favorite holographic cardstock. This is very thick, curdy. You guys have no idea. Side note, I am on the struggle bus right now with speaking words. I have no idea why I cannot speak today, but I'm pausing and editing quite frequently. Usually it's like one roll through on a voiceover, but today, no, not so much. All right, so that's sturdy cardstock. I got it in a pack of 50. They're all so beautiful in this pack. I will link it below. Check it out. It's just awesome. If you're in the market for some really pretty holographic, different kinds of holographic, and really just awesome cardstock. Anyway, I'm going to place this down on my magic mat. See what I tell you? I'm struggling. On my magic mat, and I'm going to use some low tack tape to hold it in place, and I'm just going to use my sandwich. Now I'm using the Gemini Junior here, and my sandwich is a cutting plate, the magic mat, my items to cut, and then a cutting plate. And so that's the sandwich for when you're using your magic mat. And it's really great because it does minimize warping. And so, that's something I do recommend also. Here's a close-up of what we're going to do with these two dies that are going to come out. So I've got this rainbow die, and really, essentially, the little pieces are what would you consider the innards of it and could be thrown away. But I'm going to use them on another card. So I'm smacking that out of there, and now you see the big piece, I guess it would be called the positive of this rainbow die, is quite large, but I do love how it all comes out and it's together. That's attractive to me, so I'm not messing with a whole bunch of pieces all the time. But what I wanted to do on here was I wanted to use it as sort of a template. In hindsight, you don't need to do this. You can pretty much eyeball these 4 pieces. It's not that difficult to place them down, but I thought I would give it a shot and just try to use this positive piece as a template to help me. If you do want perfect placement, this is a tip to do that. And you could do that with any of your dies that come out in pieces that you could keep. So now we are getting double use out of our dies here because I have my positive and then I'm using the negatives as well to decorate the front of a card. And so again, we've used the stencil in that way. Now we're using the die in this way. All right, now I'm going to place that down and you can kind of see me. See, it's a little bit of a struggle, but I think you could totally eyeball that. You don't really need to do this. But this is a really helpful tip and trick when you need to line up things perfectly. Like let's say the insides of certain letters, you can put the positive back in there and then place it down, and then you're going to get perfect placement. But for something like this, probably eyeball it. Now I have this other piece that comes with the die set, and I'm just going to place that right at the bottom just to kind of finish off the look of the rainbow. And I am then going to start adding my sentiments. Now this sentiment right here is the word inspire. I love this font. I think it's so pretty. And I think that I would have probably gone with a little bit of a darker, maybe a black inspire on there, because I feel like it almost gets kind of lost. But it also is a very soft color card, or maybe a white inspire, something that kind of didn't get lost with the blue on the bottom. I don't know. Anyway, tell me what you think. I'm curious about that. On the other card, I'm going to put some liquid adhesive on the back of this rainbow, and we're going to use this at the center. I love the idea of the stars and the rainbow together, just sort of like a sky type of theme. So that's why I kind of kept with that. But that holographic cardstock, any holographic cardstock has my heart. I think it's just awesome. In fact, I just put in an order and got a whole bunch of mirror cardstock from, I want to say Tonic made the ones that I got, in like 3 different shades of pink that look almost identical. So I kind of know where my problem lies. I just have a love for holographic or mirror cardstock. So I'm going to cut these panels down just so that I could then finish them off on maybe some card bases that are maybe a light gray, just something a little different, or even on a white card base. You get that nice little frame around your card panel. So the size of this card is an A2, that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now I'm going to be pulling out the new pops of color. So there is a new set that came out recently that I had to get my hands on, and they are gloss. So the original, the first round that came out of the pops in color, they are pearlescent, beautiful pearlescent. You know, if you've watched me in any video about pops of color, I have a slight obsession. I think they're fantastic. The consistency, they're just great. But this is the new set here, and they're all gloss colors, and they are the brightest and prettiest pops of color. And again, love using them. Their consistency is wonderful. So yeah, so I just wanted to make sure that I went crazy on my cards with these pops of color, because there was no rule of 3 happening anywhere on these cards whatsoever. I just went pops of color crazy. So anyway, yeah, I loved it. It was fun. Thanks so much for hanging out with me in this video. I will link everything I used in the description box below if you want to check it out. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you don't want to miss any videos in the future, because I would hate to miss you. And also, just a little plug for my crafting Instagram. I have that linked below. I'm trying to build that up. I'd love to have you over there. It's a really quick way for me to communicate in a lot of ways of sales and tips, tricks, reels, all that good stuff. So Be sure to follow me on that account as well as my Mary Polanco Live Well one if you'd like to. I will see you all in the comments down below and in the next video. Bye-bye.